We can use the slope-intercept form, but we can also use something called the point-slope formula. And here's what the point-slope formula says. If you're given a point, and we'll label this x1, y1, and you've got a slope, m, then this is your formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So you plug in what you know, and you've got your equation. So if we look at the last example that we had talked about, okay, so previously I was talking about this guy. I said the slope was equal to -4, and I said the point we go through is 5, -12. So that means y minus, what's y1? It's the -12. Make sure you pay attention to those signs. What's your slope? -4, and then we have x minus x1 is 5. Now understand what we have going on here. We plug in the slope and we plug in a point, and there's not going to be anything else that we need to do except for get y by itself, or put this in standard form, because we still have y and x, because in our final answer we kind of expect to have y and x there, so it kind of takes care of everything in one formula. So when I work this out, I get y plus 12 is equal to what? -4x, make sure you distribute correctly. -4 times the x is -4x. -4 times -5 is
20.
positive 20. When I subtract 12 from both sides, what do you get? You get -4x plus 8. And isn't that the same thing we just had?
Yeah. But therefore, we can just do what we did the first time. Which is just plug
Right.
in 5 and 12.
Right. But sometimes the point slope formula is a little bit, sometimes it's better for us. It just depends on where you're trying to go and what you're comfortable doing. For me, growing up, this was the only way I ever learned. I didn't know about the other way. However, for the most part, I like the other way. I like it a little bit better. But let's see. Suppose I tell you that the slope is equal to 10/3, and the point we go through is -7, -2. Well, if I use this slope-intercept form, and I do y equals mx plus b, what am I trying to get from this formula, y equals mx plus b? Trying to get b, which is for the y-intercept. So let's plug in what I know. So what does it look like? Instead of y,
1003 is the thingy.
I get -2 is equal to
10/3.
not x, because we're going to replace the x by the x coordinate here, -7, plus b. Remember, the b is what we're looking for. B is for that y-intercept, and I don't have the y-intercept. So if I work this out, we're just working with fractions, so I know how much you guys love that, right? So what do you get?
I got 70 divided by 3.
-70/3. No calculator. Be a brave little toaster.
70 divided by 3.
You don't need to worry about 70 divided by 3. Keep it as a fraction. I can look at 2 over 1, convert this guy to thirds by putting in the missing factor of 3. So really what I have here is negative 6 thirds. That's going to be plus 70 thirds when I move that term over is equal to b. So that means my b is equal to how much? What is that?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'll give you a hint. I guess you need a bigger hint.
Oh, negative 76 over 3?
No, it's a negative 6 and a positive 70, so 70 minus 6 is 64. Now, is this my answer? Am I done with everything? It's only part of your answer. So take my b, and I take my slope, and what's my final answer? Y equals 10 thirds x. My b, 64 over 3. Okay. Now suppose you did it using the point-slope formula. So the point-slope formula says this: y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay. So I plug in a negative 2 here for y1, I get y plus 2 equals my slope of 10 thirds. When I replace this guy with a negative 7, I get x plus 7. I'm going to show you something that might help you out here. See, we want to get rid of our fractions, so it's going to make our lives a little bit easier. And the way that we did that before is we would multiply times the LCD. What's the LCD here?
Lowest common denominator.
Ryan, what is it in this problem? 3. It's the only thing I've got here, right? So if I multiply the left side of the equation by 3, and I multiply the other side by 3 as well, what does my equation look like now? 3y plus 6 equals, now over here on the right side, the 3 is reduced and all I have is a 10. So distribute the 10, I get 10x plus 70. Now at this point, it may be easier for us to go into the standard form. Okay. To go into standard form, I'd move the 10x to the left, so that's minus 10x plus 3y. When I move the 6 to the other side, I have to subtract that, and I end up with 64. Do you all agree? But wait, I don't want to lead with a negative, so how can I fix this guy quickly? Divide all by negative 1, so I get 10x minus 3y equals negative 64. So this answer here is also acceptable. It's just whatever way is going to be easiest for you. Now, especially if you're worried about taking a multiple choice test, you have to look at the answers to get an idea about where you want to go. If all the answers are in slope-intercept form, do it this way. If your answers are in standard form, I might be more inclined to do it this way. Clear the fractions, move everything over, and see what form you have, because some multiple choices will have this form. Others might have it where it's cleared out the negative at the beginning, so you have 10x minus 3y equals negative 64. So you just kind of have to read and see where you're supposed to be going.